Thanks, Reed. And I'm really going to need him to hold off on the rain because it's
so,
game
right?
one. There's nothing like game day. Hopefully, crossing the fingers, this weather stays perfect.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys stay with us as well. We've got a lot more to talk about. James Blackman will be leading this offense. There are a lot of other big-time playmakers back to lead the Seminoles this year. We're going to take a deep dive into the offense.
And Florida State never short of homegrown talent. Madison County's Travis Jay has waited for his moment to shine, and he's not taking a single day for granted. All that and more. Stay with us.
I'd also like to announce that we're going to name James Blackman our starting quarterback for this season going into the beginning of the year.
A familiar face will start at quarterback for Florida State today, as Mike Norvell named James Blackman the starting quarterback for the Seminoles last week. Norvell said Blackman has had an extraordinary camp, and he's been pleased with the growth and development with the redshirt junior. Norvell did say there will still be competition at that quarterback spot, and he wouldn't be shocked if the other guys on the depth chart get an opportunity to play. But Blackman has done everything he needs to earn him a shot at the starting gig.
He's had good plays, he's had bad plays, just like every other player, through this fall camp. But, his response is something I've been really pleased with. His understanding of what he sees on the field has been impressive to me, which ties into what he's taken from the meeting room to his own study and the application there in practice and scrimmages.
Now, Blackman will have his share of weapons on offense with several talented receivers. It's a group highlighted by Tamarion Terry, who had 60 catches for nearly 1,200 yards and 9 scores last season. Keyshawn Helton is healthy. DJ Matthews and Ontario Wilson both poised for big seasons as well. Now, running back, little bigger questions with that group. Norvell's offense is built around the run game. They're going to look to fill the void of Cam Akers, who rushed for over 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns last season. Anthony Grant transferred, and Kalen Layburn was kicked off this team. Deontay Sheffield is the only returner for Florida State, but the Noles did add Texas A&M transfer Ja'Shawn Corbin and have several talented, albeit raw guys to back them up.
Whenever you talk about the run game, there's so many pieces that go into it. The O-line, the tight ends, running the other backs, lead backs, quarterbacks decisions. I go through all those guys. They've all had their moments, but I feel very confident in what that group's going to be able to do, and how they're going to continue to grow.
We mentioned Deontay Sheffield as a key part of that running back core, and until a few weeks ago, Sheffield and teammate Wyatt Rector were walk-ons for this Florida State football team. Coach Norvell honored both of them with scholarships. It's the result of a lot of hard work from both, and a road that wasn't always easy.
I was working on roofs with my dad. I was working at Walgreens. Coach Jimbo called, and Coach Kelly and Coach Graham, and they all told my dad and me that I was going to be on scholarship, but it was going to be in that spring.
Coaches leave, promises weren't followed through.
I feel like it made me into the man I am today.
Their journeys to Tallahassee may have started different, but tight end Wyatt Rector and running back Deontay Sheffield share similar stories in regards to being a Florida State walk-on.
On scout team, wherever they needed me to play that week, I played quarterback, running back, tight end. I even played tackle one practice.
Being a walk-on isn't easy. Twice the work with little reward. But for these two, every step along the journey to earning a scholarship made them who they are.
I called my mom because that's my everything. And I told her, and of course she broke down and cried and everything. God makes no mistakes. And all the trials and setbacks and everything I had, it was part of the process. I ran down the stairs. I grabbed my phone and I called my dad immediately, and I started breaking down again because it just means so much to me.
A journey with twists and turns, but a journey well worth the destination.
I'm at an amazing university. I'm playing football that I love with a bunch of the teammates that I love. But I'm very blessed, and I can't thank Coach Norvell enough.
The result of a lot of hard work. Gotta love it. Now, in a college town, several businesses rely on football to survive, and they are thankful that games are back. And we wanted to know, so we asked, if there was one position group that you're uncertain about for this upcoming Florida State football season, What would it be? Your answer coming up.
Welcome back to Florida State football, a new era. Now, if there is one position group that you're a little uncertain about for this upcoming season, what would it be? We asked, and you answered overwhelmingly. 72% of you said it would be the offensive line. No big surprise there. Followed by running back, quarterback, and defensive end. Now, we're a little less than an hour away from kickoff, but the Seminoles aren't the only ones putting in work. Some of our local businesses are hoping to cash in from the crowds in town to cheer on the Noles. ABC 27's Christian Thomas spoke to businesses who say that Florida State football is a priority in their playbooks.
This football season for the Florida State Seminoles will be like none we've seen before due to COVID-19, but with players back on the field and fans in the stands, businesses are hoping that they won't just support the team, but them as well.
There's been some excitement, with the announcement of our games.
Game day is back at the Doak after a rough offseason for businesses who cater to fans of the Seminoles.
We hired a lot of our student staff, so, we're welcoming them back, welcoming students back a couple of weeks ago, and now hoping that the fan experience is going to be, what it can be during these unprecedented times.
Garnet and Gold has been selling Florida State apparel for over 40 years. Owners say this year wasn't easy, but with the return of students and football, they're optimistic. With masks now a top seller due to the coronavirus and stadium requirements.
We have seen an uptick in sales.
We're still out here making it happen, so it's been crazy 6 months, but we're still here.
Mike Goldstein owns Capital City Pedicabs and is a staple on FSU's campus. During home games, you'll see him getting fans to Doak Campbell Stadium, and even before Saturday's game, the requests are already coming in.
I've gotten requests for rides already, so we'll wipe down the rides with wipes for sanitation, and we have our masks up for in between rides as well.
Limited capacity inside the stadium and no tailgating outside may mean fewer customers than normal, though. The pandemic causing the administration to reduce capacity to 25%. Doak can hold almost 80,000 people during a normal season. Whether in or outside the stadium, businesses know the changes are going to take some getting used to.
It'll be a learning curve, I think, for the first couple of games, but once we get into the swing of things, I think people, understand what a game day experience is now in 2020.
I think it's exciting to see activity come back to the town. I think as long as we're being safe about it, we can definitely enjoy what we can.
In Tallahassee, Christian Thomas, ABC 27.
There are 6 home games this year for the Seminoles, so some of our local businesses are asking that you can support them where you can. Now, of course, there is no tailgating today, so that could be good news for some of our local businesses looking to cash in today.
Yeah, I think so too, Brian. And you have to remember, some of these restaurants were shut down for several months or couldn't operate at full capacity. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many takeout options we got just to support these local businesses. So in a small college town, local businesses mean everything. Whether you're selling T-shirts, you're selling food, you're a pedicab driver.
Taking people on the bike.
So I'm really excited for them today, and I hope they all make a ton of money. I mean, we're rooting for all our local businesses.
Yeah.
Now, everyone loves a local hero. Madison County product Travis J missed all of last season. He's ready to play now, and he plans on taking of every opportunity he's given. Welcome back. The Florida State football team kicks off their 2020 campaign in about an hour right here on ABC 27. It's a new era in Tallahassee as head coach Mike Norvell makes his debut.
And over the next 30 minutes, we're breaking down this Florida State defense. We will also talk to you about the Marching Chiefs and how do they plan to socially distance while keeping that war chant going. And Coach Norvell has stood by his players as they continue their fight for racial equality. That's all coming up this half hour.
When Mike Norvell was introduced as Florida State's head coach on December 8th, he said this program would approach everything with a championship mindset, and they were going to get back to the top. Norvell still expects the best from his players as they inch closer to kickoff. Passionate, dedicated, competitive. All words to describe Florida State head football coach Mike Norvell.
I'm sure guys that have been around me, throughout as coaches and my teammates back when I was fortunate enough to play the game, the message probably does get tiring at times. But today's all we have. It's the only thing we have guaranteed. And if today is the last day that I ever get on this earth, I'm dang sure going to give it my all.
And as dedicated as he is, he expects those around him to be the same.
I don't want to be around average players. I want to be around great players. I want to be around guys that are passionate to be the best they can possibly be.
Every day he comes out here with high energy and attention to details every single day, every single morning, every walkthrough, every little thing. He's going to make sure that you're giving your best effort.
An effort Norvell expects to be 100%. 100% of the time.
You can't prepare to play this game by just going through the motions, and there's a way to do it, and I've been a part of that my entire coaching career.
A message he's now bringing to Tallahassee.
That's a mindset that I want from this team, and it's a mindset I want from my coaches, and absolutely the mindset I want for myself.
A mindset of passion, dedication, and making sure the job gets done. Back for his 27th year as an assistant coach for his alma mater, Odell Haggins. And if there is one person on this football staff that is more loved by this fan base, I'd like to hear it. Haggins had a lot of support to be promoted to head coach permanently after Willie Taggart was fired. Norvell promoted Haggins to associate head coach when he was hired in December, and he'll also continue to coach defensive tackles. Now, being a guy that's been in Garnet and Gold for over 3 decades as a player and as a coach is special. And Haggins said there is nothing like game day and the emotions that come with it.
Every time I come out of that tunnel, it's something about it. It's just I get a feeling you can't explain. You know, it's going to be a special year for each and every college team that's playing this year because we didn't know, nobody knew, number God, if we were going to be playing or not. And the kids are looking forward, I'm looking forward, and everybody around the nation. Football is a great sport. Football brings people together. It teaches you a lot of lessons about life, and I'm really excited about it.
Haggins did say he got knee surgery this offseason. He added it is the best he has felt on the football field in over a decade.
And before the Mike Norvell era officially began in Tallahassee, he had 2 promises from talented players that they will be returning for another season. And Marvin Wilson, who could have been one of the top defensive tackles taken in this year's NFL draft, as well as leading receiver Samarian Terry, who both announced that they would be returning to Tallahassee. Now, both agreed that they were excited about their potential under Norvell, and they wanted to finish what they started. So when players across the country made some decisions to opt out because of this pandemic, it's one that they respected, but it's a thought that never crossed their minds.
I didn't come back to not to sit out or just to opt out and go prepare for the league. I think that's just taking the easy way out. For me personally, I came back and I have work here to do in Tallahassee, and I'm going to get that done.
Why opt out? I mean, I came back for a reason. And that reason was not be average. I wanted to be great. I came back. I told Coach Norvell the reason I came back to win ball games and help the team out, and I know we could turn this around.
With Adam Fuller coordinating this Seminole defense, there's a lot to be excited about. Joining Wilson on the ACC's preseason team are defensive backs Hamza Nasruddin, who is out today against the Yellow Jackets, and Asante Samuel Jr. Now, big man Robert Cooper has been praised this entire camp, as well as fellow tackle Corey Durden. Now, them alongside Wilson have been praised by ESPN as 3 of the top 10 defensive tackles in the entire country.
Madison County product Travis Jay missed all of last season. The defensive back has been praised all fall camp for his work ethic and his talent. Jay has learned from the past. He's ready to play, and he plans on taking advantage of every opportunity he's given. Coming out of Madison County High School, Travis Jay was one of the top defensive backs in the country.
That's where I want to go. Like, from day one, I knew I wanted to go to Florida State.
With offers from all the top programs, Travis decided to stay close to home. But his dream was put on hold when he was forced to redshirt his freshman season.
Using it in a positive way, don't take it as a negative, and me going down, I use that as a fuel and it just encouraged me to want more and do more.
Travis has a new mindset.
I'm working hard and showing my skill set, not here to show up somebody else or make somebody else look bad. Like, I ain't come here for that. I came here to play my game. I ain't got to prove nothing. You'll just see from my play on the field.
Play that's caught this coaching staff's attention.
He's a big body that's super athletic, and he's a physical tackler. You know, he's kind of what we look for at that position at free safety.
I want to work. I want to win. I came here to win. I came here to help turn Florida State around. So that's what Coach's doing, so that's what I have to do.
Travis is on a mission for Florida State and for his hometown.
Kids back in Madison and Greenville, where I'm from, like, looking up to me
And when I do go back down there, it's like kids, they like run up to me like saying this, saying that about Florida State. And it's just like excitement to me to want to do more and like do great in the things I'm doing so they can look up to me and be like, I can do it too.
Jay, not the only former Cowboy on this Florida State roster. Offensive lineman Zane Herring is a freshman this season. He did have surgery on his shoulder back in August and will miss the rest of the year. WarChant.com is the largest and longest running site devoted to covering Florida State athletics. I sat down with Ira Schafel and Aslan Hajavandi earlier this week leading up to the big game, where we talked X's and O's and the excitement for game day finally getting here.
Game one. I mean, we're here. I didn't think we were going to get here. I don't know if anybody thought we were going to get here. Are you nervous, excited? I mean, what is today going to be like, do you think? I mean, things are definitely different.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be different from just getting out of the car and seeing nobody tailgating to going in the press box and having us being socially distanced, the limited number of fans in the stands. I mean, everything about it's going to be different, except you would like to think the football on the field. We think that that's going to be what it would be under normal circumstances. But, yeah, I think it's going to take a while to get used to it.
I mean, it feels like an eternity since Mike Norvell kind of started his tenure here in Tallahassee, but it's really only been 9-10 months. Think about back in December when we first sat in that press conference. I mean, he was passionate. I mean, at some points I was like, wow, I mean, he's really energetic. What has your impression changed from then until now?
For me, I've been more encouraged just to see the consistency of his message. That first day that you mentioned in December at his introductory press conference, he had all the notes. I think his predecessor did that for a lot of people as well. So who knows how important it really is to win that press conference when you're introduced. But for me, it's just his message of work, getting 1% better, which I know sounds trite to a lot of people. But again, there was a recipe that this program used for a long time to win football games, and it was quite successful. And I think that we're getting a lot closer to what it used to be than what it was recently.
Not having a spring, and I know this is something that every single program in this country has gone through, but not having that spring, do you think it's going to make a big difference this fall?
It definitely hurts them, more so than some other teams. Now, on the one hand, you say, look, every team had to deal with this. I think Georgia Tech got it in 6 practices. Florida State got in 3 practices. Some schools got maybe up to 7 or 8. Some got none. But the difference is Florida State being a first-year coaching staff, that would have been a great opportunity for them to really evaluate the players, let the players understand what was going to be expected of them. So all of that kind of got pushed back to preseason camp. So they really had to condense everything at a preseason camp that normally you would have spread out over that spring. So it is 15 practices, and as Coach Norvell mentioned earlier this week, it's also 35 days of meetings and just time together. So that was a big blow. Now, as we said, other schools are having to deal with it as well. I do think it's magnified, though, for a first-year coaching staff.
Mike Norvell's offense has been raved about, explosive on the air, in the air, on the ground, and it's, I think, something unique about him. He's not really locked into a particular type of offense. He caters it to the playmakers around him. What do you think we're going to see more of this year? Do you think we're going to see them airing the ball a little bit more or turning to the run game?
I'm curious what Aslan says, but I think they're going to be running the ball a little bit to set up the pass. I would be surprised, even though they've got great weapons in Tamari and Terry and Warren Thompson, I'd be a little bit surprised with the offensive line and with James Blackman not having the greatest track record of being mistake-free as a quarterback. I'd be reluctant to put the ball in his hands too much early on. I'd like, in an ideal world, if they can get the running game going a little bit, controlled passing game, maybe bring some safeties up on the opposing defense and then hit big plays over the top. That would be my approach. Of course, that's easier said than done if you can't run the football. But if they can run the football, I think that's what they'd like to do first.
Yeah, I think the defense is going to lead the way. So run the ball, protect the ball, have the defense, kind of win you most of these games on your schedule. But I just think when you got a 6'4" guy on one side, a 6'3" guy on the other, Cam McDonald, he's like 6'5", running down the seam. I don't know how much in this day and age the pass can open up the run for you, but I definitely know that offensive linemen are much better at pass pro than they are at run blocking, at least this early on in the season. So I would think that they're gonna try to lean on Tamori and Terry. I think your offense can go through him. He's that good. He's that dynamic. He's going to bring that much attention that he's going to open so much other stuff up for guys like Cam and Warren.
What's going to happen today?
I think Florida State's going to win. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than maybe some fans might hope for. There's been, when you hire an offensive minded head coach like Mike Norvell, it's a tendency, and we got players like Tamari and Terry and Warren Thompson. The tendency is to focus on the offense. But I really think, and Aslan touched on it earlier, I think that the identity of this team is going to be really good defense, really good special teams, and maybe opportunistic offense. So I think Florida State's going to win. I don't think it's going to be in doubt for very long. I think Florida State's going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I think we're going to see a really good defense. I think we're going to see really dynamic wide receivers. I think we're going to see an improved defensive or offensive line, rather. I think all the little things you want to see, you'll see glimpses of it enough to get you excited for the season. You're going to get your first win in an opener since 2016. If you're a Florida State fan, you're going to see a lot of good stuff that's going to lead to a brighter future later on this season.
And you can see that new staff, this new team, this new era here in Tallahassee. About 30 minutes to kick off, 3:30 right here on ABC 27. So don't change the channel, guys. Ira, Aslan, as always, it's been a pleasure. WarChant.com, check them out. They're the best. Appreciate it.
When it comes to games, you cannot forget about the band. We're checking in with the Marching Chiefs and how they're preparing for a socially distanced season inside of Doak. And because I don't want to wait another minute to hear them, let's take a listen to what we're going to hear come game time. Welcome back to Florida State football, a new era. Kickoff is only 30 minutes away. Now the players and coaches and fans are ready for game day, but you know who else is ready? The Marching Chiefs. Sports anchor Dom Tibbetts caught up with the band to get a glimpse of what's in store for this season.
Florida State fans, listen to that beautiful music. The Marching Chiefs are back and ready to be a cornerstone in one of the best college football atmospheres you'll find in the entire country.
Well, we want to have that first home game atmosphere for the team and for everybody that's in attendance.
There is no Florida State game day without the Marching Chiefs, and it's been like that for a very, very long time. And we're so thankful that we're actually getting to take part in the game day.
And there's no one who can speak to that truth more than announcer Dave Westbury, who steps into his 41st season as the voice of the Marching Chiefs. Through his 4 decades of service to the program, there's one thing that holds true to him every year.
And there's a lot of ways to characterize it, but one of my favorite ways is when people talk about it being the heartbeat of a program.
But above all, these students are just happy to be a part of a tradition that Seminole fans near and far hold so close to their hearts.
But it's more so rewarding because we know it's rewarding to the students to get a chance to still play, to still do marching band, something that they love, and then still to support the team and support the university.
Now you will be able to hear from the Marching Chiefs from Doak Campbell Stadium. Are they going to stay socially distanced? Of course. This year there will be no performances on the field pregame or at halftime, but they really are like that final puzzle piece that brings the whole game day atmosphere together. Now speaking of that, hopefully it's going to be a great day to hear the Marching Chiefs. Reed, any rain we're expecting for today's game?
Yeah, we do have some scattered showers, thunderstorms in the forecast, but we are not looking at a wash for today. You still might want to have a poncho nearby, as you usually do this time of the year. And of course, it's a September 3:30 kickoff. Guess what? It's going to be warm this afternoon. We're going to be seeing some breaks of sun, probably plenty of sunshine with just some passing clouds providing a little bit of shade for you this afternoon. At kickoff, those temperatures will be at their highest right around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Those temperatures topping out close to 90 degrees this afternoon. So again, that's hot. Make sure that we're dressing light, drinking plenty of water out there at the stadium and at the tailgate if you're doing anything before the game this morning. We are seeing those halftime temperatures. I'd say by about third, fourth quarter, once that sun gets closer to setting, temperatures will begin to drop a bit. Now, of course, it's still going to be muggy outside through the course of the day. We're going to be breaking a sweat out there in the stands today, but all in all, pleasant forecast. Could be worse this time of the year. Rain's going to be hit or miss throughout the rest of this afternoon. They're showing you around 4 o'clock. And again, that's not too generous rainfall coverage like we've seen days earlier this week. Not a wash, not this kind of umbrella weather, but You can never be too safe, keeping maybe a rain jacket or a poncho in the bag just in case you need it. For the most part, we should be seeing that sunshine with passing clouds through the day. Winds will stay out of the east-northeast this afternoon. If you got plans after the game now, maybe you're going out for some dinner, for some drinks later on this evening, we're going to be seeing a pretty usual look here. Not really worried about the rain once the sun goes down. Now, the temperatures, they're going to stay warm. It's September, so these kickoffs are always a little bit on the toastier side. We're going to be seeing those temperatures dip back in the 70s after the sun sets. This evening, just a pretty calm look for us. Those clouds will linger. Wind should stay out of the east-northeast with the muggy conditions that we are used to this time of the year. As long as you dress light and make sure you drink plenty of water and have a great time at the game, I think the weather will cooperate.
In a summer where athletes were taking a stand and fighting for equality, so was Florida State. How the Noles are stepping up with Coach Norvell right by their side. But first, there are a lot of guys that could just have a huge impact on this team this season. Now, Twitter is only letting us choose 4, so we picked our top ones. Who do you think could make the difference? Your answer right after this break.
Welcome back. We asked, you answered. Who do you think could make a difference for the team for the upcoming season? 42% of you guys answered with Josh Kando, followed by Jayshon Corbin, Warren Thompson, and then offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. This summer, teams across nearly every major sports league in the country have postponed games to raise awareness for social justice issues. The Florida State football team held a march, players spoke out, and this team also issued a statement. They want change too.
Anybody can tweet something. Can you go out each and every day and live something that is going to better this world, impact others, to be a positive influence.
For the Florida State football team, it's bigger than football.
Times like this, you see people with true colors, in my opinion, and as you see Coach Norvell's true colors is him and our coaches and our coaching staff and everybody on the staff will stand with their players.
Standing up to be heard.
Don't lose hope. Don't lose sight of the importance of your voice and who you can impact.
Using their platform for change. The Seminoles released a statement Friday that they will continue to work with the Tallahassee community to make a difference in the lives of others.
I want all athletes out there to know you have a voice, and I feel like all athletes stand together, athletes, coaches, everybody should come together and spread love and peace.
If you live a life without relationships, if you live a life without having those connections, and it's not a life worth living. I mean, you go through this to be able to help have a positive impact on others while trying to be the best version of yourself in everything that you do.
Everything starting with making this world a better place.
Thanks for everybody coming out today and
for everyone.
People are going to like what you do or they don't, and people are all entitled to their opinion, and I stand firm in the beliefs that I have.
A belief that it's bigger than football. Now we are about a half hour out from kickoff in Tallahassee, and although this season does look a little bit different, again, no tailgates today.
Right.
Fans will be socially distanced, only about 20,000 people inside that bowl.
It's going to be interesting to see what College Town looks like.
I'm just glad football is back.
Absolutely.
First of all.
Finally.
I'll be honest, I didn't know if we would get here. I didn't.
For the longest time, I was like, there's no way. Testing and kids testing positive and everything, didn't think we would get to this point.
We're here. The energy is back. Football is back in Tallahassee, guys. Brian, this is your second year in Tallahassee. Former sports anchor over in Jacksonville. Switched over to news. Right? But you're still a huge sports fan. Goes to Florida State games.
Yes.
What are you looking to see at today's game?
I just want to see a win. It doesn't really matter if they win 3-0. I think everybody can go home happy. Of course, we were just talking about the opener last year against Boise State. Everything looked great in that first half, and then we saw what happened in the second half of that one, and it was just pretty much downhill from there. So just a win. I don't care how they get it done, just win.
It's as simple as that. This is my take. Florida State, at the end of the day, they're still the same football team. They have a new head coach. I'm really excited about Mike Norvell. I think his philosophy is great. I think if you talk to any coach, all the high school coaches in the area have said the same thing. He's very organized. He's got a plan A, B, C, and that's what he's going to do. When we talked to him earlier this week, I actually asked him, what is your game day ritual? What do you do?
Okay.
Mike Norvell has a book. that has different scenarios for a football game.
Okay.
And he sits there and he goes over every different scenario.
So if it's 3rd and 4 in the fourth quarter, he knows what plays
he's got option A, option B, option C, and he knows what he's going to do, which, I mean, he's very prepared. And again, anybody that knows him, his coaching staff, the players, they'll tell you the same thing. So I think he's going to be ready. I think he has this team ready to play. I think they're excited, and you mentioned it. We've been cooped up.
Yeah.
We're just excited to see football.
Just football is finally here. Get a chance to throw some food on the grill, watch the game, get out with some friends. Not too many friends, of course.
Yes.
But, yeah, we're just really happy that football season is finally back here in the capital city.
Oh, exactly. And again, I'm really excited to see this offense. You know, we talked about this offense before. James Blackman at quarterback. Little concerned about the running back group.
And the offensive line. They need to give James some time back there.
And you voted, 76% of you guys said that the offensive line was the biggest kind of doubt on this football team. I think the defense is going to shine today. This defense, again, 3 of the top 10 tackles in this entire country.
Defense is going to lead the way.
Defense is going to lead the way, guys. Kickoff again, 30 minutes, Florida State hosting Georgia Tech right here on ABC 27. Don't change the channel.